Welcome to Rauta. This time we have a very, very special guest. We have one of those big names, if you know what I mean. We have Mayhem. And here beside me is this great gentleman, Attila. Welcome.
Thanks, Will. Thank you.
You have been already quite a few days on tour. How is feeling towards the end?
Yeah, it's been a long tour, so it's good to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to say. I'm excited because all the rest of the shows are sold out, so it's been pretty good. It's a long tour, been a bit exciting, exhausting, especially in the beginning. Our bus broke down and when all this shit happened, so it was a little bit bumpy.
Bumpy road.
Yeah, bumpy road. Had to catch up first, so I felt then tired. Now it's just towards the end. It's good, you know. Of course, now it's like tricky because everybody is getting sick by now and stuff, so to really care, fight with the health things, you know, because it's important. But it's been really great performances and everything, you know.
You have a new album out already, been a few weeks, and it seems it has gotten quite a positive feedback already. And in my opinion, I don't know if it matters to anybody, but I think it's the best album you've got out since The Mysteries. What is your own feeling after you've been a little bit more distanced from it?
Thank you. Yeah, it's. What do you mean distance?
Like, I mean, like for you, it's like old stuff. I mean, since you recorded it and old stuff, and you've been a little bit playing it already live and all that stuff. In that sense, distance.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's great to play those new songs. It's such a refreshment. So I'm very, very happy about that. We play 4 new songs in the set. Yeah, it's been great, and yeah, people seem like love our diamond record, you know, and just fucking great.
It seems like you have a lot of The Mysteries vibes with those albums, because I know you've been touring before that. I remember you seeing a couple of years ago at Tuska Festival, and then you played The Mysteries, the Sathana set, and now this new album seems more closer to that. Was this the intention, or is it just something unconscious kind of a way?
Both. I guess it came naturally since we toured with The Mysteries, which was like not planned that long, but it was such an interest, so we had this extended tour. Yeah, and we wanted to do something else, so a little bit go back to the roots, like everybody is more involved in the composition, the creation of the album, and also a little bit less abstract, so to say, a bit more back to the roots, you know. That was the idea, and yeah.
Yeah, some of the newer albums compared to The Mysteries have, like I said, they're more abstract, more maybe experimental in black metal. So this is now like going back to the 90s, but with very modern kind of sound design. It's like a modernized version, so it feels like it's a brother album. How does it feel to play these different kind of songs on stage when you have newer and older material together?
Yeah, for me it's completely different, you know, but of course, when you are on stage, this is all connected. So we have 3 different sets on the live show, and Mystery is also separated in the second block. It's fucking great to play with Mayhem, you know, and we sound, I think, really solid these days. And new albums are really refreshing for me. The new songs, I mean. So yeah, it's a long set also. Like I don't think we ever play this long set, like especially not on tour. Like it's more like almost 100 minutes. You know, it's pretty intense.
What was it to have all these new lyrics and design the ideas for the new song? I mean, after all, it's not like your album is called Demon, it's Diamond in a way. So how it is to have these lyrics compared to the old ones?
It's very different. Here the lyrics are the idea was, as we were thinking about, to go back to the roots when everybody was more involved in the music. I think that's why this album is very unique. So even when people came up with the songs, I asked everybody to come up with some lyrical ideas, and people did. So I thought it was just great to use those and incorporate to the songs, So everybody wrote the lyrics in this way, and I think that makes very special. That's why that's Diamond, the channel, and also the dark aspect of nature and human nature. This is dual meaning. It's something common and something basic, but like you said, in present day, with all our experiments and all our touring experiences, and stuff. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's Mayhem today.
Mayhem was very much on the so-called scene map recently when Lords of Chaos movie came out, and there was lots of discussion about the events and happenings, and Negro Butcher was seen saying, which turned later into a meme, like, I was also on my way to kill Euronymous. Were you, sir, also on your way to kill Euronymous?
I think it's just a movie, I never had any problems with those guys, and nobody were talking about killing anyone while I was there, Even there were not major problems, I didn't sense, just a little bit perhaps. So I consider him like my friend and brother, and never had any problems.
Do you think it was okay to do this movie, or is it just a bad idea?
People are free to do movies about whatever they want, and eventually I think it was good. But it's more positive. We didn't know, and it's hard to know, and of course it's a story, and all these conversations are made up, and I miss from the movie that it's not so much about the music, and that actually it was like a major work to make the Mysterious record, took years and a lot of effort. It's not coming through the movie, and sometimes, like in the beginning, we all look like a bunch of idiots, like drinking, especially like when I was in Norway, nobody drank anything. That wasn't not about, we were just about the music and focusing on the recording, at least in these 2 weeks. But sometimes I was like, it's no drink or beer or, it's fucking. So that's one example, and it was much deeper, So this is just a movie about like a story, as it says in the beginning. Actually, that's correct. One cool thing happened that turned out they shot the movie in Hungary, and they found my son in a like this catalog, this agency, like he's an registered actor too. So when I came home tour, they were like, someone called from the family, guess what, your son's gonna play. I was like, what? So they already reached him, That was cool, eventually. First I was like, okay, what? But of course, eventually I thought it was a cool idea. He could play me, and he was the same age almost like I was back then, I was 22.
So there was a clear heritage link, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like in the two generations of black metal.
That is cool. At least that is cool about the movie eventually. Maybe, if something, But other than that, the director is a cool guy, I like Jonas. And I think at least it was good for maybe it was good promotion in some way. But honestly, it's an honor, someone makes a movie about you, of course. So there's a lot of good things about it. But
it puts you kind of in even more the pages of history.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Still, I wish it could be done, more accurate, maybe one day. But yeah, fuck it. Is it what is it,
So what do you think about those past days now that you realize that Mayhem has been there for like 35 years? You've been there a long part of the whole band career. How do you see those ages like 80s and 90s now that you're a little bit older?
The 80s for me, my first show was in 86 with Tormentor. And I played up till 90 and 91 with Tormentor in Hungary. Mm-hmm. And it's slightly different from, for instance, Mayhem. They had like a few shows, before the 90s. With Tormentor, we had a lot, like 50 to 100 in those years. Became pretty famous and big. That time I even didn't recognize you could easily have like 700 people, 900,000. And so, at the end, towards the end. So for me, that was black metal high school years. I grown up with that kind of thing. It's fucking extreme too. There's no security and totally different times.
It was more underground.
Yeah, but a lot of people were at the shows and we played in these big venues sometimes. Like, now that venue even closed down, but it's like 2,500 capacity was, no, 1/2 inside and 2/2 out. No, 2/2 inside. Fuck, that was like big. Stuff like that. Okay, it was not full, but still, Mm-hmm. We had these crowds. I remember once in 80, that was like one of the first, like 87, we went to play to Miskolc in Hungary. I was driving my father's Russian Lada, and we...
Lada, legendary car.
Yeah. No, it must have been 88 then, because I had already a license. So, anyway, we arrived and there was a drummer with me, and maybe guitar player. Arrived to the place and I was like, what the fuck? It's like, but it's a lot of people, like it's still not open, something must be wrong, Mm-hmm. So I went to the door, turned out they were the people who were left outside, it was full, They didn't want to let me in, I had to go back and bring some cymbals. Hey, I'm gonna play here. It's fucking crazy, And it looked like from the stage, like, the Celtic Frost video, like Circle of the Tyrants, like it's full, like only heads, like it was just moving, I could walk on the heads. It's crazy. I don't know. That was actually relatively early. Someone stole our guitar player pedal and shit, so fucking hell. And then that was the early years, but then we became like in bigger venues and more infamous. But here is the thing, we only had bad reviews. And also like back in the 80s, like extreme metal was not very much accepted by mainstream heavy metal, or...
Yeah, it was only like cult following.
Yeah, and the more extreme, nobody liked it, or we only had fucking bad reviews, like, why, this shit, it's too extreme, it's too aggressive, too brutal, what is this Satan is, all this shit. But that was still working, that propaganda, negative, but because more and more people just came to our shows because extreme music was so interesting. So, and we were one of the few who were playing that thing, or the biggest in Hungary. So everybody came at the end, and first people just came to fight and for the fucking chaos, burning vinyls, all this shit, no security and stuff. But later it became like bigger and bigger. It was interesting. I didn't know, because for me big was Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, like with a stadium, Mm-hmm. So for me it was like, okay, cool. But it was, certainly interesting to think back.
Do you have any regrets of those years, or was it just all the way nice?
Regrets? I regret that Anno Domini couldn't come out in 89, when it was supposed to. Our first album with Tormentor. The state company fucked it up, or the guy or somebody, so it couldn't be released. that I regret, but that was not my fault or not our fault. Also, maybe we should not stop. Who knows? Because we were pretty big. I don't know why the fuck we stopped. Nobody. We were just young too. I was just 18. I was actually 19 when we stopped.
Yeah, you stopped too soon, considering that many people nowadays at least understand how good album it is and like appreciate what you did. And then before you got like big and famous, suddenly it was basically gone, and then other things happened.
Yeah, because it looked like all album, like even Battery changed to Viking stuff, which was cool. But like Destruction, Sodom, they also changed a bit the style. All the things seemed like fading out. We didn't know much about Norwegian underground. For me, Scandinavian metal was Battery and King Diamond, And
yeah, there wasn't much else.
Yeah. So we just didn't know. I don't know why. We just felt it was hopeless. But anyway, the last shows were like huge. I don't know why the fuck we stopped. But we only played in Hungary. So we had one show in Austria that was nothing in Vienna, and then we had one show in Bratislava. That was a lot of people there too. But just some Hungarians live there, stuff. That's it. The rest was Hungary, But many shows and a lot of chaos, a lot of fuck up, and funny memories. I don't regret any moment of that. That I was what we were doing, and then it's a bit sad thing. Yeah, then I heard about from Mexico first, that we were on some compilation. I was like, what? Mexico? What the fuck?
Yeah, like how did they get this here?
And then I heard from Mayhem, but I even didn't really know the band, So my name was Mayhem in Tormentor, so I remember my first thought was like, wow, that's an omen. That's a strange coincidence.
You probably didn't know back then that when you started to record the Mysteries, how important and how great album it was.
By then I knew, but when first I heard from Mayhem, it was like in maybe 91 I think, and then of course I understood and discovered what it was about. It still took years to get out. That's what I'm saying, like it was a long process. That recording took like 3 years, I think, to make. And it's in an expensive studio, so it was a lot of effort and struggle to do it. So we've been in contact, and Euronymous sent me cool letters and some stuff, some vinyls. And then I heard the first demo of the Mysterious, the tape, and that blew me away. So then I was like, fuck, this is...
So cool shit.
This is cool shit. Because actually that time I was more into this old industrial music, because it was the end of Tormentor. I had a band called Plasma Pool. So I was like, okay, enough of metal for now. I want to do something else. So it was, to me, it was the same thing, but with electronics. I wanted to try. It was very challenging back in the days. But anyway, when I heard the Mysterious, and that, I was like, fuck, this is the next level now. So that's, of course, the drumming, the composition, the many things happens, slow motion with a very fast speed, and it was different picking type. I never heard, and the drumming sounded like twice fast as Slayer, or I don't know, like.
Very skilled also.
Yeah. I mean, I love Slayer, by the way. They are one of the few bands who never really fucking changed and gave up the shit, and that I really respect. And anyway, one of my big influence in extreme metal, for sure. Especially later in the 90s, it catch me again, it's fucking cool. But anyway, it was very interesting to the music, so that made me very much more excited. Yeah.
You also had other projects besides Mayhem. Plasma Pool, and obviously Tormentor. Care to mention any of your favorites among those others?
I love them all. Different times, different ages. For me, it's like a different time of my life, you know. All been great. Tormentor was my high school years, you know, and I grown up, learned everything there basically. And then with Plasma Pool, did this electronic, very psychedelic, very dark stuff. Then Mayhem, you know, it's a new chapter in my life. All important. Arboreum was kind of my comeback in a way, or I had like few years, like I played still music, but only this experimental kind of crazy stuff. So that was great too, like in Italy. Like that was a little bit of combining Mayhem with Plasma Pool, you know, like industrial black metal.
Yeah, I remember you're like this neon light cross thingies with black metal and then industrial stuff. It was really unique.
Yeah, it is. It was. I loved it. It was great times. Stay with niche rock, you know, Frank in Rome. Never forget those. It was amazing. And also, but you know, very different too. Like we were very underground, very underground. And then, yeah, there's many bands. Keep of Color Scene, it's awesome to do that EP. I had a band called Korog, and for a while, or actually I just joined them for a record, but that's cool too in Hungary. I don't know, it's so many. Sun, of course, very important part of my life. Been touring with them beside Mayhem for more than 10 years. And I always been into, like, you know, this more different style of music. Mayhem, like metal and extreme metal is my main thing, you know, and Mayhem is my main band. But at the same time, I really enjoy, and it very helps my creativity to have this different type of music. So even, you know, it was good to play with Sun because it even has no drums. It's completely the opposite, you know. And it's also extreme as hell, you know, like very loud.
Low frequency stuff.
Yeah, and like slow riffs, and very psychedelic too. And also a Void of Voices, you know, my solo stuff. I still like to do it. I have Hiedelem, which is like a fusion drummer of mine, and vocals, my vocals, and I do this effect vocals. It's quite interesting. So I also gonna have a show now with Grave Temple, which is Stephen O'Malley from Sun, and Oren Ambarchi is like an Australian kind of solo artist, but joining. It's also been like a 10 years old project now. But I have new stuff too, like I'm interested in classical music, or at least I had this vision, not really even classical, more like orchestral. So I always had this vision. You have some not childish visions, you know, like playing on an organ. I tried that, one of the biggest in Scandinavia, in a church. Also to have an orchestra, and like
big orchestra.
Big orchestra. And now it seems like happening.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, with a composer called Bernhard Gender from Austria. And he made pieces which influenced by extreme metal, but it's big orchestra. And we're gonna have a piece on the 6th of March. There is the premiere or a show in Frankfurt with a Frankfurt orchestra. I don't know. And I'm gonna sing.
Is there anything you could compare it to?
It's in a working process. It's very modern, so it's very dark and pretty extreme with classical instruments. I always had this vision, and he's very much fulfilling. He's a really cool guy too. It's going to be amazing. I don't know how it will be exactly. It's still in a working process. You know, it takes some time. Just to compose, we've been talking about this at least for a year. And he's just finishing now the composition So it takes some time to write a piece, and I'm very excited. It's a guy called Ilan Volkov who introduced us. He's a conductor, friend of mine. He used to conduct like Scottish Royal Philharmonics, so he's a cool, very cool person, very open-minded, and yeah, through the years, you know, you meet interesting people,
Yeah, of course.
and these things. I wish I would have more time, or because it's so
With
much.
all the projects.
Yeah. So that's why I'm careful to pick up things. You know, I have many offers from friends too. Of course, for friends or some interesting bands or some. If I have time, can just do some guest stuff here or there. You know, that's just to support a bit that type of thing. But you know, to do something like more serious, that you really need to make yourself free and time. And you know, I look at my calendar and it's like. It's crazy, you know. Every time it looks like it's gonna be not so much, and at the end it's like always filling up.
Yeah, I get it.
I love it though. I love to play.
All right, we soon have to kind of finish this, but
All right.
you obviously have plans to tour with Mayhem quite a bit now. But what else there is to say for the next year or so?
Well,
Just touring?
yeah, for me, it's my life is mostly about music. You know, when I'm home, I try to spend time with my family. You know, my stuff. But apart from that, you know, I don't have much other plans than playing music and yeah.
Music and family.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Music, yeah. You can put it like that. Music and family.
All right, if there is one tip,
It's equal, but I still say music and family.
if there's one tip you could give to those rising stars who play in the music and are trying to figure how they can all fit that in their schedule, like family life and music, would there be a kind of a one tip above all?
Yeah. When you spend time with your family, focus on them, you know. If you don't have much time, of course, that's what I can say. And listen to them. Turn off your phone. But apart from that, for me personally, they can do everything at the same time, so that's why you have to keep this focus thing, you know. And that maybe was my fault, but if I could regret that. I wish I could spend a bit more time with my kids, but they grown now, and we are in a really, really good relation. So,
That's important.
yeah, so I like that. I didn't know it was gonna be important like that, but yeah, turned out I have this very warm family background now. It's cool. I have a boy, Arion, who played me, we mentioned, and Julia, my daughter. She's also 22 now, I think, and yeah, it's cool. But you know, for me, music is and play live. It's everything. Because I think when you perform it live, then the magic really happens. Like, of course, studio records very important. But for me, the meaning of music to play it live, you know, and feel that energy of and the challenge every time, you know. Yeah, that's my problems. I always book a lot of shows and then I regret, like sometimes, like now I go home after 1 month of touring, which means 27 or 8 dates.
28, I was told.
28 so we had like 2 or 3 days off. Apart from every night we played like more than 90 minutes set. And now I go home on Sunday and I just realized I'm leaving on Wednesday to Russia to play with my friend, this drummer friend of mine. But you know, all these things you book ahead, so that time it's still a good idea. I'm looking forward. It's not that, but it's somehow like what the fuck, you know.
But as an artist, you get to do it.
I love to do it, of course. It's going to be great. It's going to be 2 Hiedelm shows in St. Petersburg and Moscow. It's cool. It's a new thing, kind of.
All right. Thank you for your time. We've got 30 minutes in, so plenty of talk for you fans out there. So once again, go to see Mayhem live. They kill in a positive way, that is. And spend time with your family. That is something that you can never take back if you miss it. This is all from Rauta. Take care. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
If we can take a couple of quick photos and...
Yeah, of course.
Great.